In Maple Street Estate, there lived a man called Mr. Kola, a man who believed he could fix anything. Light goes off, he knows the cause. Water stops running, he knows the reason. A child sneezes twice, he already has 3 explanations. Let me tell you a story. One Saturday morning, his wife, Mrs. Kola, came into the living room looking frustrated. "Kola, the washing machine has stopped working again." Mr. Kola stood up immediately, stretched his neck like a superhero about to take flight, and said, "Don't worry, leave it to me. I know exactly what to do." In the estate, everyone knew that "leave it to me" meant trouble was coming. He marched into the laundry room with a toolbox he barely used. After 10 minutes, loud clanging sounds filled the house. After 20 minutes, the machine started shaking like it was dancing a traditional festival dance. "Are you sure it's supposed to sound like that?" Mrs. Kola asked politely. Yes, that is the sound of progress," he said confidently, even though he was sweating. Then it happened. The washing machine suddenly jumped forward and hit the wall. Water burst out from under it, rushing across the floor. Mrs. Kola gasped. Mr. Kola froze. For a moment, they both simply stared at the mini flood happening in their own house. Finally, she spoke softly. "Kola, do you think we should call a repairman now?" He cleared his throat. Maybe, just a small one." When the real repairman arrived, he opened the machine, looked inside and asked, "Sir, who put a spoon inside your washing machine?" Mr. Kola pointed at absolutely nothing and replied, "Maybe it fell there by itself." The repairman raised an eyebrow. Mrs. Kola folded her arms. Mr. Kola looked at both of them, sighed and said, "Fine, I was checking something." When everything was finally fixed and the house was clean again, Mrs. Kola simply said, "Kola, next time, just call the repairman." He nodded seriously. Of course, no problem. But deep down, Mrs. Kola knew the truth. The next time something broke, Mr. Kola would still say, "Leave it to me." After the washing machine incident, the neighbors were on high alert. Children peeked from behind gates, and Mrs. Kola always followed her husband around the house, just in case. It was a particularly hot afternoon when the electricity went out again. Instantly, Mr. Kola's eyes lit up like a man who had found a hidden treasure. "Don't worry," he announced to Mrs. Kola and the curious neighbors gathered outside. "I have a plan." By the time he returned, he was wheeling in a large generator. Everyone paused. This generator looked like it belonged in a construction site, not a modest estate. Mr. Johnson, the security guard, raised an eyebrow. "Sir, that thing looks dangerous." Mr. Kola waved dismissively. "Dangerous? No. This is sophistication in motion." He rolled the generator into the driveway and began connecting it. Sparks flew, smoke hissed, a strange smell filled the air. Little Chinedu, the street's mischievous boy, whispered to his sister, "I think he's about to blow the estate up again." By some miracle, the generator roared to life, louder than a marching band. Lights flickered on in the houses, the fridge hummed, and the fans whirred. "See?" Mr. Kola boasted. "Perfectly executed." The neighbors applauded cautiously, trying not to breathe too deeply. Then Mr. Kola had an idea. "Let's light up the entire street." He grabbed extension cords, plugging them into every lamppost, every front porch, and even Baba Wale's old garden fountain. Soon, the estate looked like a carnival. Children cheered, dogs barked, and then the generator coughed, spluttered, and exploded in a spectacular burst of smoke and sparks. Everyone jumped back. Mr. Kola coughed, waved his hands, and smiled awkwardly. "Small hiccup," he said. "Nothing serious." Mrs. Kola groaned. "Kola, that was not a small hiccup. That was a full-blown fireworks display." The neighbors tried not to laugh as they helped put out the small fire in the bushes. Little Chinedu whispered, "Next time, I'm just going to watch from the neighbor's balcony. This man is a walking danger zone." Even the security guard muttered, "Sir, maybe leave power stuff to the experts." Mr. Kola scratched his head. "Experts? Bah! This is a learning opportunity. Tomorrow, we try the water pump." By evening, Maple Street was quiet again, except for Mr. Kola fiddling with a notebook labeled "Next Disaster Plans." Mrs. Kola peeked over his shoulder. "Kola, please tell me your next plan doesn't involve fire." He winked, already scribbling notes. Fire is just excitement in disguise. The street sighed collectively, realizing this was only the beginning. And somewhere in the distance, Chinedu's dog barked as if to warn the estate, "Brace yourselves, Mr. Kola is coming." After the garden flooding incident, Maple Street Estate was on cautious optimism that Mr. Kola might take a break from his improvement projects. He did not. The very next morning, he marched into the yard holding a brand new water pump, proudly declaring, "This will solve all our water problems once and for all." Mrs. Kola groaned. "Kola, the last time you solved a problem, half the street nearly got electrocuted." But Mr. Kola was already ignoring her. Little Chinedu and his friends had gathered, as they always did when the man embarked on a new adventure. "Is he serious this time?" whispered Ada's friend. "Just wait," said Chinedu. "Disaster smells like motor oil and ambition." Mr. Kola hooked the pump to the hose, flipped the switch, and instantly nothing happened. He muttered, squinting at the machine. He patted it, shook it, even whispered to it softly, "Come on, do your job." The neighbors watched silently, hoping for a miracle, dreading the alternative. Suddenly, the pump roared to life. Water shot out like a mini waterfall, drenching the yard. Mrs. Kola screamed, "Kola, turn it off!" But the switch had somehow detached from the pump in Mr. Kola's over-enthusiastic fiddling. The water kept gushing. Little Chinedu laughed uncontrollably. "It's like a water park, only chaos edition." Baba Wale, trying to protect his prized rose bushes, slipped in the mud. "Kola, what have you done?" he shouted, clinging to a fence post. By now, the street was full of running children, drenched pets, and neighbors scrambling to save whatever could be saved. Even Mr. Johnson, the security guard, had joined the fray, carrying buckets like a man in a war zone. Mr. Kola, soaked to the bone, tried to rescue the situation. Unfortunately, in stepping backwards, he tripped over an extension cord from the generator disaster, landing face first in a mud puddle. The children cheered. "Victory!" they shouted. Mrs. Kola sighed, shaking her head. "Kola, your disasters should come with a warning sign." By mid-afternoon, the yard was completely flooded. The street looked like a small river flowing right through Maple Street. Mr. Kola, still determined, shouted, "Next time, we'll try the garden irrigation system. This was just a practice run." Little Chinedu muttered to Ada, "I think the man was born to be a walking disaster." Even Baba Wale couldn't help but laugh, slipping in the mud again. "At least it's entertaining," he admitted. That evening, Mr. Kola sat drenched but proud, scribbling in his next disaster plans notebook. Mrs. Kola glanced at the neighbors shaking heads. "We survived today, but tomorrow, who knows?" And as the sun set over the flooded front yard, one thing was clear: Maple Street Estate would never be the same again. After the washing machine war, the generator fiasco, and the flooded front yard, Maple Street Estate was on high alert. Every neighbor peered out of their windows, half curious, half terrified, whenever Mr. Kola moved. But Mr. Kola was undeterred. One Saturday, he declared to Mrs. Kola, "Today we unite the neighborhood with a grand barbecue. Food brings people together, and I am the bringer of joy." Mrs. Kola sighed. "Or the bringer of chaos. Choose your words carefully, Kola." Despite her warning, he marched outside with a massive grill, dozens of skewers, and a cooler overflowing with meat. Little Chinedu and other children followed, eager to witness what would inevitably happen. Even Baba Wale peeked from his gate. "Is he serious this time?" The smell of sizzling meat filled the air, drawing every neighbor out. Mr. Kola stood proudly by the grill, tongs in hand, and shouted, "Behold, culinary excellence in motion." Everything was going well until Mr. Kola decided to add his special ingredient. "What is that?" Mrs. Kola nervously asked. "Secret spice from my own collection, guaranteed to make the meat unforgettable." He sprinkled generously. The first bite from a neighbor's plate caused their eyes to water, their faces to turn red, and their hair to stand on end. Dogs barked, children coughed, even the security guard, Mr. Johnson, spat out his meat while fanning away the smoke. "Unforgettable indeed," Mr. Kola boasted. "The flavor is intense." By now, the smoke from the grill had grown thick. Fire erupted. Mrs. Kola activated the fire hydrant, soaking the street. Little Chinedu laughed so hard he fell into a mud puddle. The children ran around, slipping and sliding, while neighbors tried to rescue their soaked plates of meat. Mrs. Kola, wet and exhausted, shouted, "Kola, can we please just order food next time?" But Mr. Kola, still determined, raised a skewered piece of meat like a flag of victory. "No! True greatness requires risk and fire." Finally, the street erupted in laughter, tears, and chaotic applause. Even Mr. Johnson shook his head, smiling. "Sir, you may be the only man who can turn a simple barbecue into a full-scale street disaster." Sitting together after the mess, neighbors dripping, clothes ruined, and stomachs only half full, Mrs. Kola said quietly, "Kola, maybe it's not about the perfect grill, the generator, or the washing machine. Maybe it's just about trying and surviving together." Mr. Kola nodded, a little sheepishly. "Perhaps, yes. Maybe that is the real lesson." Little Chinedu laughed. "Next time, we bring umbrellas and life jackets." Everyone laughed again, realizing the truth. Life may throw unexpected disasters at you, but with friends, family, and a little humor, even chaos can become a memory worth sharing. And from that day on, Maple Street Estate became a little closer, a little wiser, and a lot more cautious whenever Mr. Kola had a brilliant idea. Moral lesson: ambition is good, but know your limits and always bring in an expert to help.